My entitled brother expected my beach house as his wedding gift. His revenge plan included deepfakes, theft, and trying to frame me, but he forgot about digital forensics. Hi everyone! Today's story will blow your mind, but really quick, if you enjoy this content, hit that subscribe button. Channel's been a bit quiet lately, and your support keeps it all going. Let's jump in. Original post. I never thought I'd be writing something like this, but I need to get this off my chest and maybe get some perspective from strangers on the internet. I'm James, 29M, and until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had a relatively normal, if somewhat complicated, relationship with my younger brother Tyler, 23M. Let me provide some context. I've always been the responsible one in our family. While Tyler was partying through college on our parents' dime, I was working 3 jobs to fund my education. I completed my MBA at 25 and immediately started my own consulting firm specializing in sustainable technology solutions. The business took off faster than I expected, and by 27, I'd saved enough to buy a modest beach house in North Carolina. Nothing fancy, just a 2-bedroom cottage that needed work, but it was mine. Tyler, on the other hand, has always expected things to be handed to him. Our parents enabled this behavior, constantly bailing him out of financial troubles and making excuses for his lack of ambition. When he barely graduated with a communications degree last year, they threw him a party bigger than my MBA celebration. I've tried not to let it bother me, focusing instead on building my life. 6 months ago, Tyler got engaged to Nicole, 22F, whom he'd been dating for 8 months. The engagement was sudden, but I was happy for him. Maybe this would be the motivation he needed to get his life together. Our parents immediately went into overdrive, promising to pay for the entire wedding, honeymoon, and even help with a down payment on a house. The first sign of trouble came during a family dinner 2 months ago. Tyler casually mentioned that he and Nicole had been looking at beach venues for their honeymoon. Of course, he said, looking directly at me, we won't need to book anything since James will give us his beach house as our wedding gift. The table went silent. I carefully set down my fork and said, I'm sorry, what? Tyler laughed like I was joking. The beach house. You know, for our wedding gift. Nicole and I figured it would be perfect. We could honeymoon there, then use it for summer vacations once we have kids. I thought he was joking at first, but the expectant looks from him, Nicole, and even our parents told me otherwise. Tyler, I said slowly, that house cost me $340,000. I'm still paying the mortgage. I'm not giving you my property as a wedding gift. The atmosphere shifted immediately. Our mother, Patricia, jumped in, James, don't be selfish. You're doing so well with your business, and Tyler's just starting out. Family helps family. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I'm happy to give them a generous cash gift, maybe help with honeymoon expenses, but I'm not giving away my house. Tyler's face turned red. You have everything, your business, your degrees, that house you barely use. I'm asking for one thing, and you can't even do that for your only brother. The argument escalated from there. I tried explaining that the beach house wasn't just a vacation property. I used it for client retreats, worked there during intensive research periods, and had converted 1 bedroom into a secure home office with servers containing 5 years of doctoral research and proprietary business data. None of this mattered to them. I left that dinner early, hoping things would blow over. They didn't. For the next 3 weeks, I received daily calls and texts from family members I hadn't heard from in years, all pressuring me to do the right thing and give Tyler the house. I stopped answering my phone. Tyler showed up at my apartment twice, both times with Nicole, alternating between guilt trips and outright demands. I maintained my position, generous cash gift, yes, house, absolutely not. Then came last Thursday. I'd driven to the beach house to escape the family drama and focus on finishing my doctoral thesis, 3 years of research on sustainable technology implementation in developing economies. The house has always been my sanctuary for deep work. I had a client presentation on Monday and needed to compile 5 years of market research data stored on my secure servers. When I arrived, the front door was ajar. My heart sank. The living room looked normal, but as I walked toward my office, I knew something was very wrong. The door had been forced open, the lock completely broken. Inside was devastation. Both servers had been removed, leaving cables dangling. My backup drives, gone. Years of printed research, missing. My doctoral thesis, my business plans, my client contracts, proprietary algorithms I developed, everything was gone. But Tyler was smart enough to leave the TV, the expensive coffee machine, my grandmother's jewelry in the bedroom. He only took what would hurt me most. I called the police immediately, but without security cameras, I'd been planning to install them next month, I couldn't prove Tyler had been there. When I confronted him, he denied everything with a smirk that told me everything I needed to know. Maybe, he said, If you'd been more generous with family, karma wouldn't have bitten you. The next day, I started getting calls from clients. Someone had sent them emails from a spoofed address that looked like mine, containing what claimed to be my real research data, completely fabricated garbage that contradicted everything I'd presented to them. 3 clients terminated their contracts immediately. My doctoral advisor called, confused about why I'd submitted a request to withdraw from the program, accompanied by an email stating I'd fabricated all my research. I've spent the last 2 weeks in damage control. I've hired a digital forensics expert and a lawyer. The forensics expert found traces of Tyler's car on my neighbor's security camera from that day, and we're building a case. But the damage is already done. 5 years of work, gone. My reputation is in tatters. My thesis defense, which was supposed to be next month, has been indefinitely postponed pending an investigation into academic integrity. The worst part? Our parents think I'm overreacting. He's your brother, they keep saying. Work it out between yourselves. Don't involve the police. I'm sitting here in my empty office, trying to rebuild everything from memory and scattered cloud backups, wondering how someone I grew up with could do this to me. All because I wouldn't give him a $340,000 house as a wedding gift. I don't know what to do anymore. Update 1, 2 weeks later. I want to thank everyone who reached out after my original post. Your support meant more than you know during one of the darkest periods of my life. I'm writing this update from my attorney's office, taking a break from what has become a full-scale legal war. After my last post, I thought things couldn't get worse. I was wrong. The digital forensics expert, Michael, made significant progress in the first week. He recovered deleted footage from my neighbor's cloud backup that clearly showed Tyler's car at my house during the time of the break-in. We also found digital fingerprints. Tyler had used my computer to access my email, and while he tried to cover his tracks, he didn't know about the keystroke logger I'd installed for security purposes. Armed with this evidence, my attorney, Jennifer, and I went to the police to press charges. The detective assigned to our case was taking it seriously, especially after we showed him evidence that Tyler had sold some of my research data to 3 of my competitors for $50,000 each. We had the wire transfers, the emails, everything. That's when Tyler went nuclear. 4 days ago, I woke up to my phone exploding with notifications. Overnight, someone had uploaded a video to YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn, a video of me supposedly confessing to 5 years of academic fraud. In the video, I detailed how I'd falsified research data, plagiarized other scholars' work, and built my entire business on stolen intellectual property. The video looked real. Terrifyingly real. It was my voice, my mannerisms, even my nervous habit of adjusting my glasses when speaking. But I'd never said any of those things. Tyler had created a deepfake. Within hours, the video had been sent to every university I'd ever been affiliated with, every client I'd ever worked with, and every professional contact in my network. My LinkedIn was flooded with people calling me a fraud. 3 more clients immediately terminated contracts. The university launched a formal investigation into my academic work. My doctoral advisor, who'd supported me for 3 years, sent a terse email saying he was disappointed beyond words and would be recusing himself from my committee. I called Jennifer immediately. She brought in a digital forensic specialist who focuses on deepfake detection, Dr. Sarah Chen, one of the best in the field. Within 6 hours, she'd confirmed what I knew. The video was artificially generated. But by then, the damage was spreading like wildfire. Tyler had been smart. He'd timed the release for late Thursday night, ensuring maximum spread before anyone could respond. He'd used sophisticated software that made detection difficult without specialized tools. But he'd made one crucial mistake. He'd done it all from his home computer, using his own IP address, probably thinking he was safe behind a basic VPN. Dr. Chen's analysis was thorough and damning. She identified the specific software used, traced the render patterns to Tyler's computer, and even found the source clips he'd used to train the AI on my voice and mannerisms, videos from my company's YouTube channel and family Facebook posts. But Tyler wasn't done. When he realized we were fighting back with experts, he escalated again. 2 days ago, Nicole's Instagram was hacked, and private messages were leaked suggesting she'd been having an affair with me. The messages were fake, of course, but they included real photos from family gatherings, twisted to look inappropriate. Tyler played the devastated fiancé perfectly, posting about his betrayal by both his brother and his fiancée. This time, though, Tyler had overplayed his hand. Nicole knew the messages were fake, and she was furious. Not at me, at Tyler. She came to my apartment in tears, with a recording on her phone. Tyler had drunkenly bragged to her about his plan. He'd detailed everything. The break-in, the deepfake, his plans to destroy my reputation so thoroughly that I'd have no choice but to give him the beach house just to make it stop. He'd even laughed about how our parents would take his side because James has always been too successful anyway. Nicole had been recording because she'd suspected something was off about his story. She'd never believed I'd been inappropriate with her, and Tyler's glee in describing my destruction had horrified her. She broke off the engagement that night and drove straight to my apartment with the evidence. We added Nicole's recording to our mounting case file. The FBI got involved once we demonstrated the interstate nature of the cybercrimes. The deepfake had been distributed across state lines, making it a federal offense. The investigation revealed Tyler had hired 2 accomplices to help with the technical aspects, paying them with the money he'd made selling my data. Our parents finally couldn't ignore the reality when federal agents showed up at their house looking for Tyler. He'd been staying there since Nicole kicked him out. I'll never forget the phone call from my mother, her voice shaking. "James, what have you done? They're arresting your brother." Even faced with federal agents explaining Tyler's crimes, she blamed me. As of today, Tyler is out on bail, paid for by our parents who took out a second mortgage on their house. He's been charged with breaking and entering, theft of intellectual property, wire fraud, cyber harassment, and federal charges related to the deepfake distribution. His accomplices have already agreed to testify against him in exchange for reduced sentences. The recovery process for my reputation has begun. Jennifer sent cease and desist letters to everyone sharing the deepfake, along with Dr. Chen's analysis proving its fabrication. Most professional contacts have been understanding once presented with the evidence. 2 of my lost clients have tentatively agreed to reconsider once the legal proceedings are complete. But the damage to my family feels irreparable. Our parents have chosen their side, and it isn't mine. They've hired Tyler, the best criminal defense attorney they could afford, while telling extended family that I'm ruining Tyler's life over a misunderstanding. The university investigation is ongoing, but my advisor, after seeing the evidence, has agreed to return to my committee. The thesis defense is still postponed indefinitely, but at least there's hope. Tyler's wedding, needless to say, is off. Nicole has been incredible, providing testimony and evidence despite the personal cost. She told me Tyler had always been jealous of me, but she never imagined he was capable of this level of malice. I'm exhausted, financially drained from legal fees, and emotionally broken from losing my family. But I'm not backing down. Tyler tried to destroy everything I've worked for because I wouldn't give him a house he felt entitled to. He needs to face the consequences. I'll update again after the preliminary hearing next month. Update 2, 6 weeks later. The preliminary hearing was 3 weeks ago, and I needed time to process everything before writing this update. So much has happened that I hardly know where to begin. First, Tyler's defense strategy has been to paint me as the villain who drove him to desperation. His attorney argued that I'd flaunted my wealth while watching my younger brother struggle, and that Tyler's actions, while misguided, were born from frustration and inequality within the family dynamic. This narrative fell apart spectacularly when the prosecution presented their evidence. The FBI's digital forensics team had uncovered far more than we initially knew. Tyler hadn't just stolen my data once. He'd been accessing my systems remotely for months before the physical break-in, collecting intelligence on my business dealings and research. They found detailed plans on his computer, dating back 8 months, outlining exactly how he would destroy my reputation if I didn't give him the beach house. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was premeditated, methodical, and cruel. The prosecution also revealed that Tyler had created similar deepfakes of 3 other people who'd wronged him over the years: a professor who failed him, an ex-girlfriend who broke up with him, and a former employer who fired him for stealing office supplies. None had been released, but they were ready to go if he ever wanted revenge. This pattern of behavior shifted the narrative from desperate brother to calculating predator. Dr. Chen's testimony was particularly damaging to Tyler's defense. She explained in detail how sophisticated the deepfake was, how much time and effort went into creating it, and how Tyler had specifically researched ways to cause maximum damage to an academic's reputation. The jury looked horrified as she showed the original video side by side with the source material Tyler had used. Nicole's testimony was devastating. She played the recording of Tyler bragging about his plans, but also revealed months of text messages where he detailed his resentment toward me, calling me names I won't repeat here and expressing joy at the thought of my downfall. One message, sent the day after I refused to give him the house, read, "He'll learn what happens when you don't take care of family. By the time I'm done, he'll be begging me to take that house just to make it stop." But the real shock came when one of Tyler's accomplices, trying to secure a better plea deal, revealed that Tyler had been planning to plant illegal materials on my recovered servers and then discover them, ensuring I'd face criminal charges myself. They'd only abandoned this plan because they couldn't figure out how to do it without leaving a digital trail back to them. The judge denied Tyler's motion to dismiss and set a trial date for next month. The federal charges alone carry a potential 20-year sentence. The financial implications have been staggering. Jennifer connected me with a civil attorney, David, who specializes in defamation and cybercrime damages. We're suing Tyler for defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, conversion for the stolen data, and various business torts related to my lost clients and damaged reputation. But here's where things get interesting. We're also suing the 3 competitors who bought my stolen data. They knew or should have known the data was stolen, and their purchase makes them liable for receiving stolen property and unfair business practices. 2 have already settled out of court for substantial amounts I can't disclose. The 3rd is fighting it, but David is confident we'll prevail. My parents have been forced to confront reality as the evidence has mounted. 2 weeks ago, my mother called me crying, not to apologize, but to beg me to drop the charges because the legal fees were bankrupting them. They've spent over $200,000 on Tyler's defense, draining their retirement savings and taking out additional loans against their house. I felt nothing. They chose their side. The extended family has been split. Some have finally seen Tyler for who he is and reached out with apologies for believing his lies. Others still think I'm overreacting, that I should have just given him the house and avoided all this drama. I've cut contact with the latter group. Professionally, things are slowly recovering. The university completed their investigation and fully cleared me of any academic misconduct. My thesis defense has been rescheduled for next semester. Most clients who initially fled have returned after seeing the evidence, and surprisingly, several new clients have reached out, impressed by how I've handled the crisis. The most unexpected development came last week. A venture capital firm that had been following my work reached out with an interesting proposition. They'd been watching the legal proceedings and were impressed by my resilience and the actual quality of my research that had been exposed during the trial. They want to fund a new research facility focused on sustainable technology, with me as the director. The funding they're offering, combined with the settlements from the competitors who bought my stolen data, would be enough to establish something remarkable, a private research institute that could do the work I've always dreamed of, without the academic politics or family drama. I've accepted their offer. The facility will be built in a different state, far from my family. It will have state-of-the-art security, both physical and digital. And it will have a strict policy. No family members of senior staff are allowed on the premises or given access to any resources without board approval. Tyler's trial is in 3 weeks. I'll be testifying, as will Nicole, the FBI investigators, and various expert witnesses. His attorney has reached out about a plea deal, but the prosecutor won't offer anything less than 10 years. Tyler refused, still believing he can convince a jury that he's the victim. I've been in therapy to process all of this. My therapist helped me understand that Tyler's entitlement and my parents' enabling created a perfect storm. This was never about a beach house. It was about Tyler's fundamental belief that he deserved whatever I had, simply because he wanted it. I'm done feeling guilty for my success. I'm done apologizing for working hard. And I'm done with family members who see my achievements as their personal piggy bank. Final update, 3 months later. I'm writing this from my new office, overlooking the mountains in Colorado. The trial is over, the settlements are finalized, and I finally feel like I can breathe again. Tyler was convicted on all counts. The trial lasted 2 weeks, and it was brutal. Tyler's attorney tried every trick in the book, painting me as a cold, calculating brother who'd abandoned family values for money, suggesting the deepfake was just a prank gone wrong, even trying to claim Tyler had a mental breakdown due to wedding stress. None of it worked. The prosecution's case was airtight. The digital evidence was overwhelming. The witness testimony was consistent and damaging. But what really sealed Tyler's fate was his own behavior during the trial. Against his attorney's advice, Tyler insisted on testifying. He was arrogant, dismissive, and couldn't hide his contempt for me. When asked why he felt entitled to my beach house, he actually said, "Because I'm family, and James has more than enough." He should have shared without being asked. The prosecutor asked him if he felt any remorse for trying to destroy my career. Tyler's response? He destroyed our family first by being selfish. The jury deliberated for less than 3 hours. Tyler was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison, with possibility of parole after 8. The judge called his actions a calculated campaign of destruction motivated by nothing more than entitlement and jealousy. She specifically noted the sophistication of the crimes and the complete lack of remorse as factors in her sentencing. The civil cases were even more successful than anticipated. The settlements from the competitors who bought my stolen data totaled $3.2 million. The defamation suit against Tyler resulted in a judgment of $1.8 million, though I'll likely never see most of it. The important thing is that it's on record, legal vindication of what he did to me. My parents' house is in foreclosure. They spent everything on Tyler's defense and have nothing left. They've moved in with my aunt in Florida. We haven't spoken since the sentencing, where my mother screamed that I'd ruined the family before being escorted out by bailiffs. The venture capital funding came through as promised, $15 million to establish the Morrison Institute for Sustainable Technology. I used my middle name, not wanting any association with my family name. We've hired 12 researchers and have partnerships with 3 universities. The work we're doing could revolutionize sustainable energy implementation in developing nations. Nicole and I have stayed in touch. She testified brilliantly at trial and has been rebuilding her life. She's in therapy too, processing how she missed the red flags with Tyler. We've become friends, bonded by this surreal shared experience. She's actually starting law school next year, inspired by Jennifer's work on our case. My thesis defense was last month. I passed with distinction. My advisor told me it was one of the strongest defenses he'd ever seen, made more impressive by the fact that I'd had to reconstruct significant portions from memory after Tyler's theft. The university offered me a teaching position, but I declined. The institute is my focus now. I bought a new house near the institute, smaller than the beach house, but with better security and no family memories attached. I sold the beach house last month to a lovely retired couple who plan to use it as their permanent residence. Tyler will never set foot in it again. The extended family remains divided. Some have apologized and attempted to reconnect, but I'm not ready for that. Maybe someday, but not now. The betrayal cuts too deep. They watched Tyler try to destroy me and chose to believe his lies because it was easier than confronting the truth about who he really was. I've learned so much from this experience. I learned that success makes you a target, especially to those who feel entitled to what you've earned. I learned that family isn't always defined by blood, but by who stands by you when everything falls apart. I learned that keeping detailed documentation and security measures isn't paranoid, it's prudent. Most importantly, I learned that I'm stronger than I ever imagined. Tyler tried to break me, to take everything I'd worked for, to destroy my reputation and future. He failed. Not only did I survive, but I emerged with something better: freedom from toxic family obligations and the resources to build something meaningful. The Institute's mission statement includes a line I'm particularly proud of: success is not inherited or owed, it is earned through dedication, innovation, and integrity. It's a direct repudiation of everything Tyler believed. I don't forgive Tyler. I don't think I ever will. He wasn't driven by desperation or mental illness. He was driven by pure entitlement and malice. He believed that my success somehow diminished him, that my achievements were an insult to his existence. He couldn't stand seeing me thrive while he floundered. But in trying to destroy me, he destroyed himself. He's sitting in a federal prison cell for the next decade while I'm building something that will outlast both of us. There's some poetic justice in that. To everyone who supported me through this, both online and in real life, thank you. Your encouragement kept me going when I wanted to give up. To anyone facing similar family exploitation or abuse, know this: you don't owe anyone your success. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. And sometimes, the best thing you can do for your own well-being is to walk away from toxic family members, no matter how much society tells you that family is everything. Family isn't everything. Family that respects you, supports you, and celebrates your success instead of trying to steal it, that's everything. Tyler will be eligible for parole in 2032. By then, the Institute will have published hundreds of research papers, implemented dozens of sustainable technology projects worldwide, and trained a new generation of researchers. His name will be a footnote in a federal crime database. Mine will be on buildings and research papers that actually make a difference. That's the best revenge I could ask for. I won't be updating again. This chapter of my life is closed. Time to focus on the future, one that Tyler will never be part of. Thank you all for following this journey. Take care of yourselves, and never let anyone make you feel guilty for your success. James. Edit. To those asking, yes, the beach house sale price was enough to cover most of my legal fees. The rest came from the initial settlements. I'm in a better financial position now than before this all started, which I know drives Tyler crazy. He gets computer access for 1 hour a week in prison. I'm told he knows about the Institute. Good.